what he's proposing to do is completely contrary to our values as Americans.
Welcome to Thursday's edition of Timescast. A look at media coverage of a Florida pastor's plan to burn the Koran.
This is a tough one for the media.
Voter discontent in Ohio raises questions for the midterm elections.
Where are our jobs? They're not here.
And using policy to jumpstart American manufacturing.
If manufacturing doesn't come back, the United States might not continue to be a global power.
David Carr and Brian Stelter discuss media coverage of a Florida pastor's plan to burn the Koran.
So, Brian, this morning President Obama went on Good Morning America and said in no uncertain terms that the minister in Florida was free to do whatever he wants, but his strong advice was to not burn the Koran. What is the media to take away from that?
This is a tough one for the media. This is an event inherently of limited news value. It's a fringe pastor with a very small congregation, but he's getting all the attention he wants, all the publicity he could possibly imagine by warning that he's going to do this, and so far by not backing down. But I think it's incumbent upon the press not to blow this out of proportion.
Yeah, but don't we live in a world now where even if there was some huge pact that there really was a media conspiracy not to cover this guy, it's the nature of the media environment we live in, that an image would pop out somewhere,
Yes.
video would show up somewhere, and even if it's just one lone guy with a cell phone, the rest of the world will see it as, in quotes, America burning the Koran.
The rest of the world will see it. There's no doubt about it. And I think that's why there's so much pressure, even from the president this morning, not to go forward on this. Now, do you think it'll happen?
I think that there'll be some background chats with the individual in question, a reminder that the minute he does this, there will be a huge target on his head, and that he ought to look himself in the mirror and decide whether he wants to trade the entire rest of his life and the potential safety of he and his family for his 15 minutes in the spotlight.
Video journalist Ben Werschel reports on the battle for Ohio swing votes ahead of the midterm elections.
I can't imagine, other than time, what's going to fix this mess.
Here in eastern Ohio, south of Cleveland, many voters aren't feeling any relief from Washington.
Bills are starting to pass and things are starting to come through, but we haven't seen direct effect.
After voting for George W. Bush in 2004, Tuscarawas County voted for Barack Obama. This year, Republicans are counting on regaining the support of hard-hit areas like this all across the country.
I think the Democrats in this area are moderate Democrats, or maybe you would call it Reagan Democrats.
Where are our jobs? They're not here.
What did he do to health care? What did he do for me?
The county is represented by Congressman Zach Space, a Democrat. He touts his ability to deliver federal dollars, but keeps his distance from the Obama administration itself.
You do have to go out of your way to show people and to tell people, look, I'm independent-minded. I'm here for you.
Whether or not Congressman Space wins re-election, and the indications are that he's better positioned and better funded than most Democrats, there is one thing everyone here seems to agree on. Right now, President Obama would have a hard time replicating his narrow 2008 victory.
In this county, I think it's going to be extremely tough.
Winnie O'Kelly and Louis Uchitel on the Obama administration's strategy to keep U.S. manufacturing jobs from moving overseas.
Lou, you argue that this administration, unlike the most recent ones, really cares about manufacturing and making it a bigger part of the economy. So what are they doing? What's their policy?
They are trying to reverse a 30-year decline in manufacturing. They're doing it by picking certain industries like wind turbines and solar and giving them some incentives, small incentives through tax cuts and subsidies, and then hoping that these industries will take off on their own.
But it's not enough for some people, like the Steelworkers Union, which is also bringing a complaint today and saying that China is providing unfair subsidies for many of these same kind of clean energy industries.
Not only the steelworkers, but other unions as well. They feel that the subsidies that China or even Germany have are unfair, and so they are trying to get the federal government to bring countervailing tariffs and duties and so forth, or at least force the pricing to be competitive with what manufacturers must charge in this country.
Join us again tomorrow for another edition of Timescast.